Hey there, friends. Have you ever noticed how, as we get older, those frequent visits to friends and family start to slow down? Maybe you used to love dropping by for a chat, attending every gathering, or keeping your social calendar packed. But now, after 70-something feels different. You hesitate before heading out, and those casual visits just don't seem as urgent. And you know what? That's perfectly okay. In this video, we're diving into 6 heartfelt reasons why many of us visit less as we age, and it's not about pulling away or losing connection. Backed by insights from psychology, like studies showing how our social priorities shift with age to focus on meaningful bonds, these reasons will resonate deeply. You might feel a twinge of worry, wondering if you're drifting from loved ones, or empathy for others feeling the same. But stay with us, there's hope here too. By understanding these changes, you can embrace your choices with confidence, nurture the relationships that truly matter, and inspire a life filled with joy and purpose. So, let's get started on this journey together. Reason 1. Finding comfort in familiar spaces. There's something special about home, isn't there? After 70, your own space with your favorite chair, that cozy coffee mug, and the quiet rhythm of your day starts to feel like a sanctuary. The thought of getting dressed, driving across town, and sitting in someone else's space just doesn't hold the same appeal it once did. It's not that you don't enjoy company, but the effort to leave your comfort zone feels heavier now. Studies from environmental psychology, like those in the Journal of Aging Studies, show that older adults often find greater emotional security in familiar environments, which can boost well-being. This shift might spark a bit of worry. Are we becoming too set in our ways, or missing out on connection by staying home? Picture Bill, a gentleman in his late 70s. Bill used to accept every invitation, but each visit left him counting the minutes until he could return home. Other people's houses felt chaotic, too loud, too unfamiliar, with chairs that weren't quite right for his back. It was exhausting. He worried that saying no would make him seem distant. But one day, he decided to try something new. Instead of going out, he invited friends to his place, where he could relax and be himself. Suddenly, socializing felt warm and easy, like slipping into a favorite sweater. Bill's story might tug at your heart. Maybe you felt out of place at a noisy gathering, or know someone who dreads leaving their cozy nook. It's a feeling we can all relate to. But here's the hopeful truth. Choosing to stay in your familiar space isn't about shutting out the world. It's about honoring what makes you feel safe and whole. Research from the University of Michigan's Institute for Social Research suggests that older adults who feel comfortable in their environments report lower stress and higher life satisfaction. Your home is your haven, a place where you can sip tea, play your favorite music, and move at your own pace. By embracing this comfort, you're not isolating yourself. You're creating space for meaningful moments, whether that's hosting a friend for lunch or enjoying your own company. So, let's take a step forward. Think about one way you can make your home even more inviting for yourself or others. Maybe it's setting up a cozy corner for chats or inviting a loved one over. You've earned this comfort, and by cherishing it, you're inspiring others to find peace in their own spaces. Let's make home the heart of our joy. Reason 2. Avoiding unnecessary stress and drama. As we journey past 70, one thing becomes crystal clear. Life's too precious to spend it caught up in negativity. Remember when you might have brushed off gossip, ignored petty arguments, or sat through tense family dinners just to keep the peace. Those days feel different now, don't they? You start to realize that protecting your calm is worth more than forcing yourself into stressful situations. Science backs this up. A study from the American Psychological Association shows that chronic stress can harm our mental and physical health, especially as we age. increasing risks like anxiety or heart issues. That's enough to make anyone worry. Are we hurting ourselves by staying in draining environments? Let's meet Helen, a kind soul who knows this feeling all too well. Helen used to visit certain relatives every month, even though each trip left her emotionally exhausted. There was always tension, maybe a passive-aggressive comment, an old grudge resurfacing, or just a vibe that made her feel unappreciated. It weighed on her heart. One day, she asked herself, "Why am I doing this?" She decided to step back from those visits and focus on people who made her feel loved and respected. For the first time in years, Helen felt light, like she could breathe again. Her story might stir empathy. Maybe you felt that same heaviness after a draining visit, or know someone who has. It's tough to let go of obligations, but Helen's choice shows us it's possible. Here's the hopeful part. Choosing to avoid stress and drama isn't about being cold or cutting people off. It's about guarding your peace so you can thrive. Research from the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships suggests that older adults who prioritize positive social interactions report higher life satisfaction. By saying no to negativity, you're saying yes to joy, to laughter-filled lunches with friends, or quiet moments with family who lift you up. You're not obligated to endure drama just to prove you care. So, let's take action. Think about one stressful social situation you can step away from. Replace it with time spent with someone who makes you feel valued. You deserve that peace, and by choosing it, you're inspiring others to do the same. Let's make our days brighter. Together. Reason 3. Prioritizing energy for meaningful interactions. As we age, something shifts, doesn't it? Those long drives across town, hours spent in lively conversations, or attending every social event they used to feel so effortless. But now, after 70, you might notice that these activities take a bit more out of you. It's not that you don't love seeing people, but your energy just isn't what it used to be. And that's completely normal. Research from the National Institute on Aging confirms that as we grow older, our physical and mental energy reserves naturally decline, making us more selective about how we spend our time. This can spark a bit of worry. Are we losing our spark, or drifting from friends? But let me share a story that might ease that concern. Think about Frank, a warm-hearted man in his 70s. Frank used to feel guilty saying no to invitations. He'd drag himself to gatherings, worried that skipping them meant he didn't care. But deep down, he felt drained after hours of small talk with people he barely connected with. One day, he made a choice. He decided to save his energy for the people who truly lit up his life, his closest friends and family. Suddenly, socializing felt joyful again, not like a chore. Frank's story shows us that it's okay to be choosy. Studies, like those published in the Journal of Gerontology, back this up, showing that older adults thrive when they focus on quality relationships over quantity. This might stir empathy for others who feel stretched thin by social obligations, or even for yourself if you've felt that tug of exhaustion. But here's where hope comes in, by prioritizing your energy. You're not isolating yourself. You're making room for deeper, more fulfilling connections. You're choosing coffee dates with friends who make you laugh, or quiet evenings with family who truly get you. This shift isn't about closing doors. It's about opening ones that lead to joy. So, take a moment to reflect who in your life makes your heart feel full. How can you spend more time with them? By focusing on those meaningful interactions, you're not just preserving your energy, you're building a life rich with love and connection. Let's embrace this change together and make every moment count. Reason 4. Preferring quality over quantity in social life. As we cross the 70 mark, our view of friendships shifts, doesn't it? When we were younger, it often felt like a numbers game. The more friends, the busier our social calendar, the better. But now, you might find yourself craving something deeper. You no longer feel the need to keep up with a wide circle of acquaintances or attend every event just to stay connected. Instead, you want relationships that truly matter, the ones that bring joy, understanding, and a sense of belonging. Research from the Journal of Gerontology supports this, showing that older adults who focus on fewer, high-quality relationships experience greater emotional well-being. This change might stir a touch of worry. Are we losing touch with people? Or letting friendships fade? Let me tell you about Nancy, a vibrant woman in her 70s. Nancy used to fill her days with visits, calls, and plans, all to make sure she wasn't forgotten. But it was exhausting. And deep down, she wondered if all those connections were truly meaningful. One day, she took a step back and noticed something: the friends who really cared didn't need constant check-ins. With them, she could go weeks or even months without a visit, yet pick up right where they left off, laughing and sharing like no time had passed. By focusing on these effortless bonds, Nancy's social life became richer, not emptier. Her story might spark empathy. Maybe you felt the weight of keeping up with too many people, or know someone who's stretched thin by social expectations. It's a lot to carry. Here's where hope shines through. Choosing quality over quantity isn't about cutting people out. It's about cherishing the connections that lift you up. A study from the University of Chicago found that older adults with strong, meaningful friendships report higher life satisfaction than those with many shallow ties. You're not saying goodbye to socializing. You're saying yes to authenticity, to friends who know your heart, who share your values, and who make every moment count. This is your chance to build a social life that feels true to you. So, let's take action. Think of one person who makes you feel truly seen and valued. Reach out to them this week, maybe for a simple chat or a shared memory. By nurturing these deep bonds, you're creating a life filled with warmth and meaning, and you're encouraging others to do the same. Let's make our connections count. Reason 5. A shift in priorities and personal reflection. After 70, life starts to look a little different, doesn't it? The things that once seemed so important, keeping up a busy social schedule, being at every event, or always saying yes to invitations, begin to fade into the background. Instead, you find yourself drawn to what truly matters: your peace, your passions, and the moments that make your heart feel full. You realize time is precious, and you want to spend it on things that bring real fulfillment. Studies from the field of positive psychology, like those published in the Journal of Happiness Studies, show that older adults often prioritize self-care and personal growth, which can lead to greater life satisfaction. But this shift might bring a flicker of worry. Are we becoming too inward-focused, or missing out on life by slowing down? Let me introduce you to Robert, a thoughtful man in his late 70s. Robert used to be the life of the party, always at gatherings, always making sure he was seen. But as the years passed, he started to feel a pull toward quieter joys. He found himself saying no to crowded events and yes to long walks in nature, books he'd always meant to read, and moments of reflection in his cozy home. At first, he worried that choosing solitude meant he was losing his zest for life. But then he realized something: these quiet moments weren't empty, they were rich with meaning. Robert's story might stir empathy. Maybe you felt that tug to slow down, or know someone who's traded busy nights out for peaceful days in. It's a change that can feel both freeing and unsettling. Here's the hopeful truth. This shift in priorities isn't about turning away from life. It's about embracing what makes you feel alive. Research from the University of California, San Diego, suggests that older adults who engage in reflective activities, like journaling or pursuing hobbies, report higher emotional well-being. By focusing on what brings you joy, whether it's reading, gardening, or simply savoring a quiet morning, you're honoring the life you've built. You're not obligated to keep up with old habits or social pressures. Instead, you have the freedom to choose what feels right for you. So, let's take a step forward. Think of one activity that truly lights you up, something you've maybe put off for too long. Make time for it this week, even if it's just an hour. By prioritizing your own happiness, you're not only enriching your life, but also inspiring others to find their own path to fulfillment. Let's make these years shine with purpose and peace. Reason 6. Recognizing that true friendships don't require frequent visits. As we grow older, past 70, we start to see relationships in a new light. When we were younger, it often felt like friendships needed constant tending, regular visits, frequent calls, always staying in touch to keep the bond alive. But with age comes a beautiful realization: the best friendships, the ones that truly matter, don't fade just because you see someone less often. They're built on a foundation of mutual respect, trust, and an unspoken connection that holds strong across time and distance. Research from the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships backs this, showing that older adults often maintain deep, satisfying friendships with less frequent contact, as long as the emotional bond remains strong. This shift might spark a bit of worry. Are we risking our friendships by not visiting as much, or letting connections slip away? Let me share the story of Eleanor, a warm-hearted woman in her early 80s. Eleanor used to feel guilty for not visiting her friends as often as she once did. She'd worry that if she didn't make the effort to show up, those relationships would crumble. But over time, she noticed something remarkable: her closest friends never made her feel bad for the gaps between visits. They'd reconnect after weeks or even months, and it was like no time had passed, full of laughter, shared stories, and genuine care. Eleanor realized that true friends understand life's changes, and they don't measure love by how often you're physically present. Her story might stir empathy. Maybe you felt that same guilt for not keeping up, or know someone who fears their friendships are fading. It's a weight we don't need to carry. Here's where hope comes in. Recognizing that true friendships endure doesn't mean you're pulling away. It means you're trusting in the strength of your bonds. A study from the University of Oxford found that deep friendships in later life thrive on quality interactions, not constant presence, allowing for flexibility as life's demands shift. You don't need to prove your loyalty with frequent visits. The friends who matter will feel your love in a heartfelt call, a thoughtful note, or those rare, precious moments together. This is your chance to celebrate the connections that stand the test of time. So, let's take action. Think of one true friend you haven't seen in a while. Reach out today, even if it's just a quick message to say you're thinking of them. By nurturing these enduring bonds, you're building a life rich with love and understanding, and you're inspiring others to cherish their true friends too. Let's make our friendships a source of joy, no matter the distance. Well, friends, we've explored 6 heartfelt reasons why visiting people less after 70 is not only normal, but perfectly okay. From prioritizing your energy and avoiding stress to cherishing your home, valuing quality friendships, reflecting on what matters, and trusting in bonds that don't need constant visits. These changes reflect a life lived with intention. Science, like studies from the Journal of Aging Studies, shows that older adults who make deliberate choice about socializing report higher well-being. But it's natural to feel a pang of worry. Are we drifting from those we love? Think of folks like Frank, Helen, Bill, Nancy, Robert, and Eleanor, whose stories remind us that these shifts aren't about loss, but about gaining peace and purpose. Their journeys spark empathy. Maybe you felt torn between obligation and your own needs, or know someone navigating this change. Yet, here's the hope: you're not closing doors. You're opening ones to joy, choosing connections and moments that truly light up your life. The beauty of this stage is the freedom to live on your terms, focusing on relationships that uplift you. So, let's take a step forward. Reflect on one way you can honor your needs this week, whether it's saying no to a draining event or reaching out to a dear friend. Your value isn't in how often you visit, but in the love you share. Let's embrace this season with confidence, inspire others to do the same, and make every moment count. If you found this video helpful and inspiring, please give it a big thumbs up to show your support. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our latest videos. Your likes and subscriptions mean the world to us and help us keep creating content that uplifts and motivates you. Thank you for joining us. Share your thoughts below, and let's keep building a life full of meaning together.